You know, sometimes in the video game world and analysis world, we speak a little bit too soon. And what I mean by that is, just in general, gamers tend to really just kind of speak without knowing all the facts. That's something that happens in a lot of different mediums, so it's not really that crazy when you think about it. But the thing that I think most of all is, when it comes to this bit of announcements and this bit of news, Microsoft was very kind of nonchalant about it, and you expected them to maybe go out of their way to announce this kind of thing, a while ago, because it seems like they've kind of kept us in the dark, and they've kind of, just done this weird job of, not really doing a good enough job of keeping people up to date with some transparency. Now that they've announced it, obviously there's a lot of people that look a little bit silly on the other side, the PlayStation side, and some of the naysayers. And that's one of the things that I think is kind of funny about this. But, anyway, at any rate, it's a fantastic announcement by Microsoft. And I got to say, this is really something that I've been looking forward to talking about for a little while, especially since we got 100% confirmation from Microsoft on this. So, going to be a good video. You're not going to want to miss it. Trust me on that one. Hey there, everybody. I'm the Crap Gamer, and of course, this is Crap Gamer Reviews, your home for gaming news, opinions, reviews, and much more. You'll probably notice some changes around here, and hopefully that doesn't stop you from giving us a like, and possibly consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. Thank you so much for choosing to spend some of your free time with me today. It means the world. All I ask is a simple like. It helps the channel be seen. It helps everything out so much, and some of you guys have been doing a really good job of doing that. I know some people like the channel, some people don't. There's some new people, there's some old people. It's a good mix. We're kind of rebuilding, but really all it takes is your help along the way, is a simple like when you watch a video. That's it. Honestly, that's it. So when it comes down to it, I just want to say, Microsoft has done a good job of changing things around, right? They've really just done a good job of changing things around. And, fans should be very thankful about that, because not every company would listen and kind of do that. And, obviously, it was a rough start at the beginning of the generation for the Xbox Series X and S. One of the main things, what I mean by that is, if you think about it, the main problem at the launch was the same problem that they had for the previous year and a half, which was lack of big games and pretty much no big AAA exclusive games to really push what they were kind of had. Now, with that being said, we do have a very interesting situation here where they released Forza Horizon 5 and Halo Infinite, and we all wanted to see how these games would do at the beginning of a new generation. The Xbox Series consoles are selling well, over 12 million consoles now, and people wanted to see what it would be like when Game Pass finally got some big AAAs in the first party. And now we know that Halo Infinite achieved over 20 million players, and Forza Horizon 5 had 18 million. So very interesting. Microsoft hosted its quarterly financial conference call for investors and analysis, and Chief Executive Officer Satya Nadella and Chief Financial Officer Amy Hood talked about the Xbox business. Nadella talked about the success of the investments made by the company in gaming, boasting 18 million users for Forza Horizon 5 and over 20 million for Halo Infinite, defining the biggest Halo launch in history. About gaming, the bets we have made across content, community, and cloud over the past few years are paying off. We saw record engagement as well as revenue this quarter. Game Pass has more than 25 million subscribers across consoles and PC. Our differentiated content is driving and diving the service's growth, and we released a new AAA titles this past holiday to rave reviews and record usage. 18 million people have played Forza Horizon 5 to date, and more than 20 million have played Halo Infinite, making it the biggest Halo launch in history. And with our planned acquisition of Activision Blizzard announced last week, we're investing to make it easier for people to play games wherever, whenever, and however they want, and also shape what comes next for gaming as platforms like the Metaverse developed. Now, this is very interesting because you guys probably remember, even back when I was quote-unquote a Sony guy, I said, don't be surprised when Microsoft announces that Halo Infinite is the best, most played Halo ever, right? And then, when they hadn't announced anything over a month after it came out, you start to kind of wonder what's going on. If you look at the Steam stuff, they're not doing exactly great on Steam, but I always looked at Halo as something as a console game. Like when Bungie made that originally for Xbox, people were surprised by it because it was doing stuff on a console that traditionally was only able and possible to be done on a PC. And I think that's why, I mean, PC has a million games, kind of like Halo or whatever, that people can play, but it's really a console game, and that's where it's made its name. That's where the most of the fans are. So it's not a surprise that Halo Infinite is still in the top 5 on most played Xbox games, with millions and millions of people playing on Game Pass and things like that. And it's not a surprise to me, at least, that it fell off on Steam and it's not in the top 50 or whatever. It doesn't, like, or whatever the case may be, 25 or whatever. Like, I don't particularly care about that, but to say that the game isn't a success is foolish, and a lot of people using the Steam numbers as like a de facto way to tell that the game is doing well or not, I think is disingenuous, because Xbox is first and foremost has always been a console. So Amy Hood mentioned that supply of Xbox hardware, the Series X and the S, during holiday season was higher than expected, and we also hear that the expectation for Q3 between January and March for gaming segment involves revenue growth year on year in the mid-single digits. Console sales will continue to be impacted by supply chain uncertainties. For Xbox content and services, Microsoft expects revenue growth between mid to high single digits, with strong engagement and continued momentum across platform. So yeah, very, very much interesting to see that they were able to kind of be able to achieve such amazing numbers, right? Like, I know a lot of people kind of balk at it or whatever. Yes, it's not the most, I would say, transparent way to announce things, right? Like player numbers, I think, but that's what Microsoft is going by. So I would feel maybe differently if they were announcing player numbers and they weren't offering something like Game Pass, which is a subscription service. But the fact that they're going more all in on the subscription service itself means that, yeah, the whole player numbers thing is a very fine way to announce this stuff, right? And I know people might not like that. I would much rather have sales numbers, but they don't go by sales numbers because they're more interested in getting people to sign up for, their subscription service or whatever. So for me personally, I find it to be very interesting. I also find it to be, very telling. I think that Halo and Forza are both going to be fine long term. I feel like Microsoft definitely needs to do a good job of, or a better job, or 343 needs to do a better job of getting content into Halo, right? Like, that's the thing that they really need to kind of focus on, getting that kind of fixed up. Like, I like Halo, but I've always been more of a Call of Duty person, so it shouldn't really be a big surprise that I prefer that type of shooter compared to Halo. But I think Halo's a good game. I think it's a fun game for what it is. I've always just had the problem with this particular iteration. I think it plays well. I just I'm not really a fan of the leveling system in it, and so yeah, that's something that I kind of look at when I go, oh, okay, well, what's a game that I'm going to play myself personally? Like, I don't like the leveling system in that. To be honest with you, I've had kind of a renaissance in playing online, and I've been playing, believe it or not, PUBG, and I've been playing Call of Duty Vanguard and actually Modern Warfare Remastered. And I just been having a good time with it. That's what it's all about. Hopefully you guys understand where I'm coming from. That this is very good news. The industry needs these type of games to do well, and I keep saying this. I say this about Call of Duty. This is why, even as an Xbox fan, I hope Call of Duty stays on PlayStation, forever, is because the industry needs these huge heavy hitters, and I hope that we continue to get these from Microsoft and Sony, having both of them would pay off having this game. But at the end of the day, it's really up to Microsoft what they want to do, and fans are going to probably say, well, if you're an Xbox fan, you probably are going to want it to be exclusive. But why? I think, probably most people just wanted to kind of rub it in or whatever. But if you think about it from the perspective of how it helps the industry, or does it hurt the industry, making that game exclusive doesn't help the industry. It really just doesn't. So I hope anyway that you guys understand where I'm coming from. I will, of course, link this and you guys can check it out. It's always going to be fun to talk about video games. I love talking about video games. It's just one of those things that I just absolutely love it. I love it. Anyway, Thank you guys so much for spending some time watching another one of my videos. Please like it, share it out, all that kind of great stuff. Have a great day. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, crap gamer 'em up. As always, my friends, Crap Gamer out.